Inference Plus Story Short number 36, Series B. They meant well, they meant well, they meant well. It was a mantra Shelley repeated to herself in a near constant loop, as her friends and family, co-workers and acquaintances, church group members and neighbors called and stopped by just to say hi. They were so delicate in the way they spoke to her now, so careful to avoid certain words and phrases, and especially careful not to pry. They danced around the bleak truth of their visits and asked if she was hanging in there. They encouraged her, with the best of intentions, she knew, to call me if you need anything, as if she had any idea what she needed. She wished she could explain to them that her life at the moment was a bit like Alice in Wonderland. She'd fallen down a hole and landed in a foreign landscape. She didn't know the climate or the customs or the cuisine. She didn't know if she should ask for a parka or a bathing suit, a fork or chopsticks. But yet the choices were all hers and hers to make alone, with no one else to so much as bounce an idea off of. What did she need? Hell if she knew. There were parts of this new life that had begun to feel normal to her. Buying one chicken breast at the deli, only brewing half a pot of coffee. There were other parts that still felt foreign, waking up on Kevin's side of the bed because there had been no Kevin there to stop her, the hilariously tiny loads of laundry. There were still other parts that remained unthinkable. Moving her shirts to Kevin's section of the closet. Putting away the reading glasses he kept on his bedside table. The things she'd thought would be difficult had turned out to be surprisingly easy, and the things she'd thought would be easy had turned out to be surprisingly difficult. Alice through the looking glass. Down was up and up was down. The months leading to the end had been monstrous for both of them, stressful for her, humiliating for him. If Kevin was a flower, the last months had been a rough hand that plucked petal after petal after petal of him away. First his dignity, then humor, then thought, then breath itself, until only the center was left. She had learned that sticky nub was called a stigma, and the perfection of that stung like a slap on her soul. The shame she felt, the relief of betrayal. She could never tell a soul, she could never even think it. So she organized the pantry until all the labels faced just so, and she collapsed into the recliner that had been Kevin's, too tired to feel anything at all. People continued to drop off food, so much food. Casseroles and cakes and cookies and soups. She'd run out of room in the freezer weeks ago, so now she waited a discreet interval after her guests left, then double-bagged the meals and dropped them into the dumpster for trash day. She knew it was wasteful, and she was ashamed, but the thought of packing the food into her car and driving it to the homeless shelter, explaining why she was donating it, hearing yet another version of, "I'm sorry for your loss," getting back in her car, crying, driving home. It was just too much. So she threw it away and lived with the knowledge that she was a shitty person. She'd eventually find something in the freezer that sounded good, but so far she hadn't felt like eating any of it. She just smiled and told people that whatever it was they'd left on her doorstep had been just delicious, with an enthusiasm she didn't remotely feel. She stifled a scream and blew it out as a sigh. They meant well. They meant well. They meant well.